Micro gardeners above the 5th floor face an invisible problem destroying their balcony gardens, and most growers have no idea it is happening. Your plants flower beautifully, everything looks healthy, and then nothing. No fruit, no harvest, just flowers that shrivel and drop. The silent killer is not disease, it is not pests, and it is not your soil. It is the absence of pollinators, and the fix costs about $2 at your local pharmacy. Let us talk about what is actually going on up there. If you garden on a high-rise balcony, you already know the basics. You have figured out your sun exposure, your container sizes, your watering schedule. But there is a biological reality that almost nobody talks about when they start growing food above the tree line. Bees do not come up that high. Research on green roofs and urban pollinator behavior shows that bee and wasp numbers drop steeply with building height. Below the 5th floor, you will still get visitors. By the 8th floor, pollinator traffic has essentially flatlined. One urban beekeeping company, Alveole, will not even install hives above 10 stories because the bees simply do not forage at those heights consistently. And here is the thing that makes this so cruel. It is not that your plants cannot produce food, it is that they are waiting for a partner that will never arrive. This matters because 75% of crop species depend on animal pollination for fruit set. Now you might be thinking, well, surely wind handles some of this. You are partially right. Wind pollination does help with certain crops, but container gardens and balcony gardens suffer from pollination problems because they do not get the same crosswinds as ground level gardens. The building itself disrupts airflow. Your balcony walls create a sheltered pocket. The very thing that protects your plants from being blown off the railing also blocks the gentle breezes that would shake pollen loose. This problem is exploding. 38% of urban households in Europe reported increasing their balcony gardening activity after COVID. Search volume for balcony raised beds in Germany jumped 61% year over year. The pandemic created 18.3 million new gardeners in the United States alone, most of them millennials, many of them living in apartments. People are flooding into micro gardening, planting tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers in containers 12 stories up, and then wondering why they get flowers but never fruit. Meanwhile, the pollinators themselves are in crisis. A 2021 global study found that bee species declined by 25% between the 1990s and the 2006 to 2015 period. Colony collapse disorder has accelerated this decline, with neonicotinoids identified as a primary factor. In North America, a landmark 2025 study from NatureServe found that more than 22% of native pollinators face elevated extinction risk. Western bumblebee populations dropped 57% between 1998 and 2020. A German study from 2017 documented a 75% decline in flying insect biomass over just 25 years. Dr. Lynn Ditz from Cambridge's Department of Zoology put it bluntly, what happens to pollinators could have huge knock-on effects for humanity. These small creatures play central roles in the world's ecosystems. If they go, we may be in serious trouble. So even at ground level, pollination is becoming less reliable. Up on your balcony, you're essentially gardening in a pollinator desert. But here's where it gets hopeful, because you can do the work yourself and it takes about 60 seconds per plant. There are 2 categories of food plants you are likely growing on a balcony, and each one needs a slightly different approach. The first category includes self-pollinating plants: tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, peas, beans. These plants have both male and female parts inside the same flower. They do not need pollen carried from one flower to another, they just need their own pollen shaken loose. In nature, a bumblebee lands on the flower and vibrates its flight muscles. That vibration, called buzz pollination, rattles the pollen free. On your balcony, you can replicate this with a simple electric toothbrush. You gently touch the vibrating head to the back of the flower, and the pollen shakes loose inside. A 2020 study published in BMC Ecology tested this and found no significant difference in pollen extraction between an electric toothbrush and a laboratory tuning fork. The toothbrush worked just as well. Do this between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. when the flowers are most receptive, and your tomatoes will set fruit like they are growing in a country garden. The second category is where the Q-tip becomes essential: cucurbits. Squash, cucumbers, zucchini, watermelon, melons, pumpkins. These plants have separate male and female flowers, and pollen must physically travel from one to the other. In a ground-level garden, a bee does this naturally, crawling from flower to flower, dusted in pollen. On your balcony, you become the bee. Here's exactly how to do it. First, identify your male and female flowers. Male flowers grow on thin, straight stems. Female flowers have a small bulge at the base, a tiny, immature fruit waiting for pollination. Take a Q-tip or a small artist's brush and gently swirl it inside a male flower. The pollen will stick to the cotton, and you should see a visible yellow coating. Then transfer that Q-tip into the female flower and brush it gently across the stigma in the center. That is it. One male flower can pollinate 2 or 3 females. Do this during the hottest part of the day, ideally between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, when humidity is lowest, because high humidity makes pollen sticky and clumpy. You will know within a week whether it worked. If pollination succeeded, the base of the female flower will start swelling into a tiny green fruit. If it did not take, the flower shrivels and drops off. And if you have ever harvested a twisted, deformed cucumber or a lopsided squash, that is likely incomplete pollination, where only some of the ovules were fertilized. More thorough Q-tip work solves that. For those who want lower maintenance options, consider parthenocarpic cucumbers, such as English Telegraph Improved. These produce seedless fruit without pollination, making them ideal for high-rise balcony gardens where hand pollination might be inconsistent. Now here is a detail that can change how you plan your entire balcony garden. If you know pollinators are not coming, choose your crops strategically. Self-pollinators like tomatoes, peppers, peas, beans, and lettuce are your lowest maintenance options. A quick shake or a toothbrush buzz, and they are set. Herbs do not need pollination at all for the parts you harvest. Cross-pollinators like cucumbers and squash are absolutely worth growing, but you are committing to a daily Q-tip ritual during the flowering season. Once you understand this framework, you stop blaming yourself for failed harvests, and you start working with the reality of your environment. There is something worth sitting with here. We have built our cities higher and higher, and in doing so, we have lifted ourselves above the living systems that make food possible. Pollinators contribute over $15 billion annually to North American agriculture alone. Globally, pollinator-dependent food production has increased 300% over the past half-century, with an annual market value potentially reaching $577 billion. And yet a person on the 14th floor with a tomato plant and a Q-tip is quietly doing the same work that sustains entire agricultural economies, just at a very, very small scale. That is the beauty of microgardening. You learn the systems, you see the gaps, then you fill them yourself, one flower at a time, with a $2 tool from the pharmacy aisle. So if you have been getting beautiful flowers and no fruit, now you know why. And now you know the fix. Grab a Q-tip, grab a toothbrush, and go be the bee your balcony garden has been waiting for.